Sounds good.
All right. And we are here with one of my favorite bankers. Actually, I have said this multiple times about him, but I've ever said it to him. But the nicest guy in the world. That's how Stacy and I, my wife, if you're unaware, used to talk about Jeff Scott. Jeff Scott, he's not too far from me. He's I'm guessing Monette today. But what are you, chairman, CEO, president, all these titles of First State Bank of the Ozarks, formerly First State Bank of Purdy.
That's right.
Recently changed that. Jeff gets credit for me being for my career. Actually, I'm giving you credit.
Is that good or bad, Steve? I'm not quite sure.
We'll let the audience decide. Comment below whether it's a joke or a con. But no, I met Jeff back in 2000 at a career fair at Missouri Southern, and he was with a company I'd never heard of called Jack Henry. And he said, "Would you be interested in installing bank software?" And I was like, "That won't be hard at all. I'll take those 3.5-inch floppies. I'll put it in the drive, boot it up. We're good to go." So I was maybe a little bit young and dumb and
it was 5.25. So,
but no, that you introduced me there. I started working with you. We spent several long nights in banks together.
That's right.
All over the nation. But Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always fun to talk to you.
Yeah.
Now we're broadcasting our conversation to the world, so we'll see where that goes. But
I guess we got to be careful what we say, right?
We do for sure. So Jeff, you have been running, you've been president CEO now for just over a year.
Yep.
And you just changed. How is that year gone? And let's talk about the brand change a little. Do you want to dive into that and just chat a little bit?
Absolutely. So technically, I'm just the CEO. Randy Henderson's our president. Randy's been with us, been a long time in the bank, does a wonderful job here for us. So good for that.
Randy.
Yeah, sorry, Randy. Our bad. And so, so I've been here, been back to the bank. Just real quick background, not everybody knows it, but this bank is family owned by my family, my parents, has been for 50 years plus. The bank's been in existence 80 plus years, but it's been in our family for just a little over 50 years. So honestly, as you said, Steve, I'd worked at Jack Henry for 23 years prior to that, then jumped over to Oakstar Bank and was a COO at Oakstar Bank for 7 years and some change, I guess, almost 8, whatever that turned out to be. And then, through family passing, that kind of stuff, moved back here to home and, become CEO here at First State Bank. And it's really been cool. It's been an honor and a pleasure to come back home, work here at a family thing, because I've always kind of done my own thing out there outside the family. So great team here. We got we're in a smaller community, no doubt about it. Our town's not super big here. Where Monette's at, we're about 10,000 people. Then we have 5 locations outside of that. But it's been really nice to come home and to a great, young, hardworking team. So love that part of it. And then too, as we've kind of talked about our future, here at the bank is like, all right, we're kind of moving into the generational side of things and we're next generation, right? So we thought about, hey, what's it look like for us? What do we want to look like in the next 5 to 10 years? And how do we want to feel, right? So we got into the point, it's like, you know what, we don't want to get away from our heritage. That's really important to us. We don't want to run off the reservation as far as changing our name, right? We want it to be more relevant. We want it to look fresh and crisp and new, but we didn't even go off the rails and say, hey, we are XYZ Bank and Trust. It's just not us, right? So when we went through this process this past year, we actually had a marketing team come and help us because we needed that. And we came up with First State Bank of the Ozarks. That's what it ended up with. They gave us a lot of different other names, but nothing just felt right as far as other names. We liked them, but it didn't feel like, quote unquote, us, right?
I mean, you didn't ask me, but I was hoping it was going to be First Scott Bank or First State Bank of Jeff. I was like,
number one, we love our customers, and number two, we want our customers to stay. So let's not do that. Yeah, no doubt. But
No,
it's really worked out. And again, we want to stick to our roots and we want to stick to our customer tradition. So it was just kind of a nice combination. And other part of that is, our heritage was First State Bank of Purdy, right? That's where the bank started. It was single location, and that's where it all started. So you don't want to get away from that. But at the same time too is, we're not aggressively looking to go into other markets right now. That's not on our radar at this point. Never rule that out, but we want to be more regionalized as far as if we do move into a community, and really to kind of solidify our brand and confusion. We want to be First State Bank of the Ozarks. So you're in our Cassville location, it's First State Bank of the Ozarks. Somebody's gonna say, is that First State Bank of Cassville or is that First State Bank of Purdy? and that did happen. So that really kind of pulled things together for us, as a brand. Then obviously too, you've seen we updated the logo. We want to make a fresh looking, crisp logo and stand out. So, all those things, it's actually been a ton of work, been a lot of fun. And we've been very happy, the reception from our customer base, they understood the story and the why behind it, and been very happy with it. So we're just kind of thinking that hopefully now going back to that is like, all right, that's our next generation and how we're going to look and feel. Then also too, anytime you do those changes, it's relevance in the market. It's like, hey, we're here to stay, and we're going to keep building upon that and, try to gain that momentum from that too. So number one, it's selfishly good from a perception standpoint, but we really wanted it from a looking standpoint too. We wanted not for ourselves, but for our team as well. It's like, you know what? We want something refreshing here at the bank. We want something new to make us feel better and to get going. And, along with all that too, and I'll take a breath, is, we're updating facilities. We're getting ready to build a brand new facility here in Monette. That's coming up very far along. And so we're excited about that. And, part of our promise too, to our customers and everybody else is, more products, to enhance their banking experience too. So I'm going to quote you on this one, Steve. Remember, we're gonna meet our customers at the transaction level, right? I use that now, so thank you. I'll take that. But that was really, honestly, I love the way you say that, and that's really a good goal. Is trying to meeting our customers at the transaction level, because customers are just at different spots, and if we can meet them and their needs, it's a wonderful marriage, if you will.
Absolutely. And you mentioned your time at Oak Star. I actually reached out to you. You left Jack Henry. I was at Jack Henry my second stint, and so like even more kudos, or like credit. We'll say carrot, not kudos. But no, like you left Jack Henry to be a COO. I followed suit to a different institution. But one of the things that I've always appreciated you, and even First State. So I remember First State, it's there in Monette. Jack Henry's headquartered there. And they were a long time, like they would be right there with Jack Henry. And tech to be a local, I don't know, testing might not be the right word, but like
bank, Beta Bank, there you go. Yeah,
they're right there, right? And so it was there, and well, you have a Jack Henry background, long banking background. You're not the type of banker that just sits there and waits for someone to walk in the branch, right? I mean, that is still like you have that traditional founding, but you're like, I'm a customer of First State, and we have a friend that we have a friend. He just he had a commercial property that is now like he's a customer of First State Bank, and so much more progressive than you would imagine a small Midwestern bank. And I think that's a testament to your leadership, but also the technology and how you're going about it, because you can't sit and just run your core platform and be at the customer with the transaction level, like we were talking about.
That's right.
What else do you have? What else do you think is going on? Where do you see, and then we'll argue here in a little bit about where banking's going. So
fair enough. What's interesting too is, it's kind of our management team is, we're trying to figure out, again, where we're going in the future. And we're not really, it's going to sound kind of funny. We want growth. That's important. We won't be big just to be big, right? That's not important. Really what we focused on right now is like, all right, in our existing markets where we are today, we wanted to be our best I call those four walls, right? So in our market, we want to be the very best with that. We want to harvest as far as doing best by doing good by all of our customers, whether it be consumer or business, offering products for them, and just really acquiring all those customers we can just within the locations we have. Now, somewhere down the road, we may say, you know what, we've done all we can do here to some degree, and we need to maybe expand in the community. But we still think that there's just a lot of potential in our area, and there's some resources untapped, customers that are somewhat untapped that we need to go and learn and learn about and build those relationships with. And to your point, and I appreciate that's a great compliment, and probably you over embellish that, but I'll take it. It really is. And everybody says this, it is relationship banking. And I still firmly 100% believe that most of the deals, not only by myself, but my team, they're typically not in the bank. They happen in the bank. They're either at a dinner, at a golf course, or a family outing, or just whatever. Those relationships start there, just in a simple conversation, and then you become essentially friends with them. And eventually down the road, it may not be tomorrow. They'll say, "Hey, I'm starting a business, or I'm buying this or that. Hey, one time you talked about some lending. What do you guys got for loans? Or I got some money I want to put in the bank, and have it there at your bank." And that's where it all starts, and just a simple relationship. I think that's so important because there's a trust level there, right? And so, and at the end of the day too, it just makes it easier for that conversation as far as dealing with customers, because there's good times, and sometimes there's some bad times, some difficult conversations once in a while. That happens. But when you have that relationship, it's really a lot easier to talk through and build that trust factor is a big deal. So personally, I love that side of the house. As far as business goes, I don't care if it's banking or just any other business, the relationship side is huge. And what's more fun, just to meet people like yourself and other people that you and I deal with all the time, just good people to deal with, and just nice to have different perspectives and learn from others. Yeah.
And just for clarity, those tough conversations, that's where your team comes in, because you don't want to tarnish that nicest guy in the world.
That's right. Somebody's got to take the hit, not me, right? That may be true.
No, you do have a great team, and I enjoyed every interaction I've had with them. I had some other smart ass comment I was going to make.
You can say it later.
Yeah, it'll come back. Don't worry. But
yeah, I'll say it later.
No, it's as we look at banking and an increasingly digital world, and I oftentimes talk about BaaS and like the next iteration. We have agentic coming on where the customer is not even engaged. Like there is no human interaction in that. Right. And so I do think, like, you think back to 2020 and lockdowns, like people crave that human interaction. And so you saw that with the rebound in the travel tourism industries after that. And I could see the same things applying as agentic commerce comes more and more. And so it positions you well to have those relationships. I mean, there's on one hand, you have the older population that will never do digital banking.
Right.
And that's like, I'm thinking of my parent, my in-laws, like they're not going to change the way they bank. But then there are these other generations that will change. But then I think we'll see it also flip back to being like authentically human. How do you do that? And leveraging that tech. So I think it's a great play for you. And like the name change does open it up, but you're not tied to Purdy. I did want to call out, is it true that Purdy is the basis of Dirty Dancing?
Footloose.
Footloose, okay.
Maybe Dirty Dancing too, I don't know.
I knew it was one of them.
Yeah. It's always funny because you go back, that movie came out about the time they had the big dance thing at Purdy, and it was about the movie came out about the same time, but it truly wasn't based off that, but they were just so tied closely together. It was always rumored that was the whole start of it. So
that's crazy.
It's kind of funny.
Back in the 80s when
back in the hair days.
Yeah.
You was talking about, different banking, and I think you're spot on the banking side of generational things. And that's one thing our team has been really good at starting to do, is really recognize. I kind of almost in our mind, or my mind at least, I kind of almost break it up in three different sections right now. You have what, my parents, your parents, that age generation. Some are digital, some are not, but mostly not. Right? That's fine. Then you have that generation, probably my age and your age a little bit. We're right in the middle. We'll do digital banking. We're not really afraid of anything. We may not be just trailblazers in some areas, but we're not afraid of it. We'll do it, right? And we'll get on social media and certain platforms and do things. But then you have that younger generation. I'm gonna call your 18 to 40s, or whatever you want to call it, a little wider generation. They're looking for certain things, and they're looking for information in certain places. A lot of that generation gets their information off Instagram or TikTok, right? About banking or information about anything else. So there's that generation. So our concentration as we grow in our bank, and other banks I'm sure doing the same thing, is we have to focus obviously on our older customers because they're strong depositors, typically. It's very stable. But then, hey, we got to start focusing on those 18-year-olds right off the bat and marketing to them and getting them into the bank, get them, I should say entrenched. That's kind of a weird word for that, but at least kind of get them into our environment, because those are going to be hopefully some of our lifelong customers down the road. But the struggle with that, to be quite honest, and that's why it's so important. I think you have a really good team of young and old, is, and we do right now. We have some really good young people. One of our girls that's with us now, she's really big into social media. She's won some awards in social media, which is really cool. I think she's maybe 19 or 20 years old, but she has such a different perception on how we should get some customers and get the younger crowd. It's really good. It really forces us to think differently on how that next generation of, customers is and are. Right. And I really love that, because it really makes us think, and honestly, it makes us really stretch a little bit in our minds on, hey, not to be so this, makes us to be more this, and really stretch us and think us on how we acquire those customers and why would they bank with us, right? What would drive somebody 18 to 30 years old to bank with us? And not only a relationship, but they don't care about relationship, but product, services, and really just a feel, how the bank feels to them.
So how do you, as not your parents' generation, but the one that's slightly below it with me?
Yes, yeah.
How do you stay current? Do you have any tips, tricks? What keeps Jeff at the top of his game?
That's a tough one, because it's a struggle for me. You know that.
I didn't know what you can ask. I just pulled it out.
Yeah, that's good. No, I think really, obviously you have to be studying. I think you have to study. You have to be looking at trends and, read articles and look online about stuff that's going on with these generations, Gen Z, Gen X, all those things, and kind of get your mind wrapped around it. Some of that information may or may not be right, but somewhere in the middle, it probably is true. Then I think you have to study that technology, what's out there. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a Jack Henry product, a third-party product, or whatever it is. You have to look at those products and see, all right, what value does that bring, and what's it solve for me, right? you can go buy a product and put it in your bank, but what are you trying to solve with it? And so, if you go put in let's just make up some type of internet banking product. All right, that's great. What are you going to do with it, right? Does that attract your younger group? That's like, if we put this product in, this is something that will solve our Gen Zers, to start banking with us. So I think we kind of have to just kind of keep up with technology, understand our customer base really well, and really at the end of the day, listen. I think that's a big thing. We have to listen to our team and others of what their needs are, because typically they'll tell you what they want. And if we listen and try to solve that with technology and other things, and as you say, meet the customer at the transaction level, I think we can be successful.
No, I agree completely. And so I wanted to zero in and put your mind at ease. We've been going long enough that no one from Jack Henry has stayed on this long. I read a post actually yesterday that banks don't have strategies. They just take whatever the core gives them, and that defines what their products are. And they do these, like, whatever the core allows. And, I think that has been a huge weakness for banks, is their chief strategy officer is their core provider,
right?
Because of whatever it is. How do you, we've both spent many years, decades.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
It's an amazing company. It's got a long history, but like, how do you balance that core, like their influence versus making sure that you have what resonates with your customers? Because I think that is, to me, that it's a huge challenge. It's like I took a bank from Fiserv to Jack, but then part of that move was because I wanted to be able to integrate other providers,
Right.
and go out to that. But any thoughts on how you balance the it's so much easier just to go with core.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I kind of break this down in a little bit, two components, right, wrong, or indifferent is, the core used to be so much more important a long time ago, especially the days when you and I were installing banks, right? Because at that point, I'm going to age both of us a little bit. Sorry, Steve. At that point, all the people cared about was core, maybe some type of ATM integration, your POD, and that's really about it. There wasn't much past that, and maybe a little bit documented in there, right? It wasn't much.
I remember the online banking.
Yeah.
It started while we were there, and we're like, oh, it's gonna be an easy conversion. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, yeah, never mind.
Never mind. No, never mind. Never mind. But that was such a big component. It's to me, it's almost kind of reversed, if you will. To me, in my mind, your core is your system of record, right? I mean, it kind of at this point, right, wrong, or different, it sits over in the corner. It collects all your data about your customer, tracks your loans, your deposits, obviously does your accruals, all that kind of stuff, right? That's stable, and I think that's what's good. And I'm not just saying for Jack Henry. I think FIS, Fiserv, they all have good, solid cores and been around. They're very mature, which that's good. So I think now the part is, it's kind of like my terrible analogy is almost the wagon wheel, right? You have your center hub, that's your core. Now you have all your spokes, and that's all your integration points of whether it be a Jack Henry product, whether it be a third-party product that you're looking for. Then you go find your best of breeds. And I think that's where, I will say up front, anytime we look at a product, typically we'll look at Jack first, just because they're one of our biggest partners, right? And rightfully so. But at the same time too, we look at, all right, what are we trying to solve, and who's the best person to help us solve that problem? It may be Steve Bishop's company that provides that product. Like, that's what fits us better. And then luckily and thankfully, nowadays there's integration points, within Jack, JHA, where we can get in, whether it be Banno or into the core, compared to years ago, had to write custom code to do everything. And so, and now that part's out of there. So that's kind of the way we approach it is, the core is out there running, it's stable. We know what it can and can't do. We know those parts. Then if it can't do it, then we go looking at other parts and other other companies that can help us solve that problem, whether it be Jack Henry or not. And I'll speak, I'm not going to say names on it, but I will say contacts at Jack Henry. I mean, they totally agree, I think, with what I'm saying is, we want you to get the best products you have. And if sometimes you don't choose us, we understand. We want your business, but at the same time too, if you choose that, we fully understand. It's still a partnership.
Yeah, it. I mean, they're still getting paid a sizable amount of change every month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think when I was looking at it, I went in thinking I need an online banking platform that is by a third party because they're going to be on the top of their game. Mm-hmm. But what I found was the incremental value that was added did not measure up to the incremental cost. And so it's such a tough balance. Like, and like, this is going back several years, but it's like online banking, you need it, but like, have you ever chosen a bank because of their online banking? I expect it, but I don't judge them, right? Like, and so I think it's like finding what makes you different. What is your niche?
Yes.
Like, there's a relationship, the local part, that's absolutely, like, I know I can call Jeff, I know I can call Trey, and they're going to be there even on the weekend. They may send me straight to voicemail, which I expect, but like, actually, Jeff, last time I called you on a Saturday, you answered. So I appreciate that. But it was, but like, you have that relationship, but then it's like, why am I going to bank there? And so it's just, I'm not going to choose it because of online banking, but finding that tech, like meeting the customer where the transactions are. Yeah. Like, I need to have First State like know that they're there where I want to have my money move or receive money. So
Yeah. Well, and this is a kudos to all community banks too. I think what most people want at the end of the day is they want good, quick, responsive type service, right? I mean, if somebody comes to us, say it's a lending request, like, hey, trying to buy a piece of land or something like that, as long as they give us all the information that we need and we underwrite it, they want to at least get a response as a thumbs up or thumbs down initially, And I think that's what's really important about us as community banks is like, what? We want to bank our folks local, but we have to, provide good service too from that level too. I think that's why more people want to go to community banks because they're expecting that level of service of, hey, I can go get this done within a week. I may have an answer, at least the initial answer, like, yeah, we're good at this point. We still have some more work to do, but you passed the first check or something like that. And
right.
I think that's so important in our communities here too. And because the world does move fast and some of these deals move fast and they're expecting that a little bit too. And I don't think the bigger banks can move as fast as us. That's just the way I see it. But that's
you talk about bank moving fast, but no.
yeah, right.
To me, I think it's, and I just interrupted you because I'm rude like that. But if you think of a Chase, Citi, Wells Fargo, they have a form, and they will gladly loan you money if you check all the boxes that their system is used to seeing, and like this is how you do it. And the beauty of community banking, the beauty of First State is there might be other circumstances. There might be some things that we need to look at that don't fit in that box, but makes complete sense if you sit down and look at it and talk to a person, which you're never really going to talk to. You can talk to a person from those big banks, but they're not going to be the decision maker.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, in the community banking side of it too, it's just really good to know your customer that's sitting across, the desk or room from you to build that relationship, just really know them and their family. Because like you said, sometimes there's some unique circumstances in there. You can sit down and have that conversation. It could sway the decision one way or the other. Right. And I think that's where community banks look at stuff and say, you know what, this person, they check these other boxes. That's great. And where it could be a tight fit, like, you know what, this person has the character and I know that they'll come through for us. And they've checked all these other boxes, the appropriate boxes to keep the bank safe is like, you know what, this is a really good fit for both. And I think that's where community banks really shine, to be quite honest, is that part of it. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think we're in a very interesting phase where community banking is at a pivotal moment where they needed to find that niche. They needed to find the direction, their strategy, which like you're on top of it. You're going down the right path. I think there will be consolidation. You and I were chatting with some friends earlier and it was talking about like this massive consolidation. You got threats from fintechs. But we still need community banking in the US. Like it's that lifeblood. Especially, I don't know, it's, the rural towns, like it seems like no matter how small the town is, there's going to be a bank there.
Yeah.
And they're providing vital services to that community.
Yeah.
Jeff, we're almost out of time, but so summer's coming. Any big plans for summer? You're just going to change names to the bank again, or?
I don't think so. Not this summer. Maybe next summer.
So anything big on the horizon for banking?
Just banking in general?
It's wide open.
Wide open? I don't want to say anything big or not. I think it's status quo. I mean, as far as banking goes, but I think it's our thing. I'm going to speak for us at least. Our thing is just continue to push and progress, to be the best we can be, and really just go and build those relationships and giving great products to our customers. And really, I mean, we really want to go here. We want to go after consumer and business customers and offer them a wide variety of services. We really want them to come to us for everything they need, right? Within reason of business. We can't bank Amazon by any means. So, but our small businesses, that's kind of our lifeblood, is like, we want to be able to support them in everything they need, whether it be from a line of credit to, digital banking, cash management, all those certain things. We want to be able to provide those services to them. And at the same time, we want to be the very best at it for them, provide those great, responsive, quick services, if you will, and good products. I mean, that's just really our goal. If we can accomplish those kinds of things over the next year, 2 years, we'll have a good foothold on where we're at, I think. And, and just be a really overall good bank and be good for our community, because there's a lot of things too, once you're a good bank in your community, to give back to. And I think, not to toot our horn, but, the bank here, our team, they give a lot to the causes and help build community things going on. And we love that part of it. That's part of our job here.
Oh, absolutely. And just to kind of pull it back full circle.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like when I was saying about no, it's a compliment, Jeff. No, you're saying you want to be progressive and move things forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's what separates First State from the majority of the community banks that are going to get consolidated, that are going to go away, because they don't want to progress. They want to stay the same way it always, because banking hasn't changed that much in the last 50 years. There's, whatever you want to say. So kudos to you to wanting to move it forward and make sure that you stay relevant, because man, it is crazier and crazier every day in here.
Yeah. And with good people like you and other teammates that I have, that help, honestly guide me and give me a lot of good information to be progressive with it, is very helpful. So kudos to you for that, because you give me a lot of good information to help progress us. So appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, you take it with a grain of salt and realize that you're to blame for any information you get from me. So.
That's true. Fair enough.
Well, Jeff, thank you for taking time. Fun as
thank
always.
you.
I'm still waiting on my pullover, by the way. No, it's a great looking logo. No, I'm jealous. No, but
I'll get you on.
The name change. Congrats on your first year. You guys are killing it over there. And we'll have you on again, and we'll dive in deeper. But thanks for now, Jeff. It's been a blast.
All right, thanks, Steve. Have a good night. Thank you. Take care. Thank you.